Okay, hello first graders. I'm going to start with an apology because I recorded lesson 3-8, which is the lesson that we're going to be working on today, on page 461. That's where you'll find it. However, apparently, I don't know what happened, but it stopped recording at some point. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to share my workspace with you, and you're going to see what it is that we're doing, and I'm going to walk you through each step, but the page is already complete because I thought that I was recording and it wasn't recording. So when I show you my workspace, you're going to see that the work is there and done, but we're going to walk through the steps, and I'm just going to use another color, and then we'll talk through it as we go. Okay? All right, let's try it. So here we are, lesson 3-8. The page number is 461, and they're asking us to count with groups of 10 and leftovers, or as I like to call them, and ones. Okay, so we're going to start by reading the story here, and you can follow in your book. Tara has 34 cubes. How many groups of 10 can she make with cubes? Show your work in the space below, then fill in the blanks. Okay, so we want to identify our important information, right? We know that Tara has 34 cubes, and the question is, how many groups of 10 can she make with the cubes? Okay, how many groups of 10? Our number that we're working with is 34. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and write 34 up here just to clarify. So we talked yesterday about rods and how rods are just another way of representing 10, right? Because within each rod, I have 10 ones. So if I'm going to represent the number 34, with each rod, I'm going to count by tens. So it's going to sound like this: 10, 20, 30. Okay. If I do another rod, I'm going to count to 40, and that's going to be too big because my number is 34. Okay, so I'm going to stop at 30, and then from there, I'm going to count by ones. Okay, so let's do that together. We have 30. Now we're going to count on 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay, so this now represents 34. And when I look back to notice how many groups there are, I see there are 1, 2, 3 groups of 10. So down below, we're going to write that there are 3 groups of 10 with 4 left over. Or another way of thinking about that is with 4 ones. Okay, so here's my group of 10s, here's my group of ones. All right, so we're going to get more practice with this on the next page. And again, my numbers are filled in, so I apologize about that, but we're still going to talk about it step by step, and I'm going to work through it with you, okay? So the first box says count 23 cubes, and Daniel says, how many groups of 10 are there? How many are left over, or how many ones are there? So what I'm going to think about as I begin is how many cubes are in each column. Okay, so you could see all the columns are even except for the last column where they run out. So let's see how many are in each column. If I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 cubes in each column, which tells me that if I group 2 columns together, that's going to give me a group of 10 because I know 5 and 5 is 10. So you can see, moving to the next box, that's just what they do. They start grouping groups of 10, which is 2 of those columns. So if I group these 2 columns, that makes 10. And if I group these 2 columns, that makes another 10. And then when I look to the next part, I don't have enough to make a third group of 10. I have some ones here that are remaining. Okay, so the next step then is to count. Now that I've grouped them in tens, I can count by tens, right? So I have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 altogether. So to summarize that, I can say 23 is 2 groups of 10 and 3 left over. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice to get some more examples. Guided practice wants us to circle groups of 10 and then write the numbers. So here we go with number 1. We're working with these cubes here. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are in each column. So I know if I scoop up 2 columns, I'm going to have 10. All right, so I scoop up my first 2 columns, that's 10. I scoop up my second 2 columns, that's another 10. And now when I look to the next one, I see I don't have a whole group of 10. So those are going to be the ones I count by ones. Okay, so how many groups of 10 do I have? I have 2 groups of 10. And how many ones do I have? Let's count there. I know this is 5, right? And then I can count on from there. 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 left over, or 7 ones. And how many is that all together? We have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I have 27 altogether. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Again, I'm going to scoop up groups of 10 to begin with. So I see here I have 2 columns, that makes 10. Okay, I'm going to scoop up another 2 columns, there's another 10. And I'm going to scoop up another 2 columns, which is a third group of 10. And when I look ahead here, I see that I don't have a complete group of 10, right? So how many groups of 10s do I have? 1, 2, 3. 3 groups of 10, and how many left over? Well, I can think about this a couple of ways. I can say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I can get it that way. I also see that I'm just 1 cube short, so I know that this is 10, and I have 1 missing, which would leave me with 9, right? So I could think about it either way. 9 ones left over. How many is that altogether? Count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 39. Okay? So that is what you will be working on today with your independent practice. They're going to ask you to circle the groups of 10 and to write the number, just like we did together with our guided practice. Just take note that each of the columns are in groups of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And that tells you that if you scoop up 2 columns, you'll be making a 10. So that's for 3 through 6. And then I just wanted to take a peek down here for 7 and 8. The process is the same, except this time they did some of the work for you. They circled the groups of 10s, and they're just asking you to identify the numbers. So you can see Marta says to write the number of groups of 10 and the number of ones, then write the total. All right, so if we look at this first example, they scooped up 2 groups of 10, and then they have a complete column, so I know that that's 5 ones. So we have 2 groups of 10 and 5 left over, or 5 ones, and that is 25 altogether. To confirm, we can count 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay? All right, guys. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Hopefully you're able to follow along, okay? I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I will be seeing you very soon. Until then, take care. Bye, guys.